We have to talk about Marissa and her mother and how that relationship really did affect her ignoring some of the red flags. What was really going on there? How does the relationship and how your mother's relationships are there not of really affect how you show up in your own marriage, your own relationship? And we're going to get into it. It's going to get spicy. If you are ready for a therapist straight, no chaser, okay, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe. Let's get into it, why don't we? Now, we have seen Marissa's mom screw face. We've seen her threaten Ramses over and over again. Is it Ramsey or Ramses? Okay. But I think ultimately the fact that her mother has not had a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, it does impact how we show up as daughters, how we function in our own relationships, because what was mirrored to us? The relationship our mothers have with men, partners, in general, how they are, how they show up in the world as women, that gets poured into this little girl. Okay? And now, looking at their dynamic, and some of it is not going to be the most popular opinions, but if you notice, Marissa and her siblings all have different fathers. Okay? Nothing wrong with that, but it just shows you just how she's had different relationships. And I wonder how healthy, unhealthy those relationships have been with the other men she has dealt with, and how those father relationships have impacted each of her children, how she talks about those men, how those men show up or not show up in their lives, affect them also. Not only does your relationship with your mother, but the relationship with your father. And with Marissa, I really didn't hear them speak much of her relationship with her father. Okay? It seems like the terms were not well, they did not end well. And because of that, her mother seems very much hurt, mad, angry at the concept and idea of marriage because she was not happy. And you see how when Ramses does meet the family, how her own mother's opinions about marriage, how she threatens him. If you hurt my daughter, I'm coming after you and what's between your legs. Okay? Now, she was not playing. And some people might see it as she's a ride or die mother. She's going to stand for her daughter no matter what. She is going to show up and show out. But at the same time, you're meeting this woman for the first time. Okay? And now Ramses, he wasn't about nothing. Okay? I'm not going to stand here and say that she was wrong for, standing up for her daughter. I cannot get this bun, y'all. I'm not going to, sit here and say that the mother was wrong, because she was standing up for her daughter and what her daughter needed from her. And I think at times, though, because Marissa's mother has not been in the most healthiest relationships, I think that does pour into her as a person. Okay? And sometimes I wonder if she was trying to prove her mother wrong. Maybe it was she wanted the marriage that her mom never had. Okay? But at times, she ignored the red flags. And Marissa is a very bubbly person, very outgoing. And how does that impact relationships? Okay? Because you see how her mom is not the happiest person. So I'm interested to see how Marissa was able to have this personality and come out of this household dynamic where the mom is not so happy. And some of that anger, frustration, y'all see it as anger. Some people see it as her being mean. But I wonder if there's some layers of depression there. Her own trauma, and how her mother's unhealed trauma now pours into her daughter. Okay, and how her daughter shows up in relationships, and how her daughter ignores red flags. Some people might feel like she should have chose a white boy, that maybe he was better, but I don't know about that either. But Marissa, to me, has a very anxious attachment style, and her mom has, once again, from what I'm seeing from edits, I don't know these people personally, but you see Marissa with an anxious attachment style. I think her mother seems like she has more of a maybe dismissive, maybe disorganized, but I don't really know that much about her, but Marissa is anxious. And most of the time, people who come from anxious households come from avoidant or disorganized mothers. They need the proving your love, prove yourself to me. Okay, I get a lot of my self-worth and confidence from relationships, from people. That anxious attachment style has something unfulfilled by parental relationships, that now they're trying to get that from romantic partners, friendships, people, places, and things. Okay? And you have to look at, what is your attachment style? What is your mother's attachment style? What was your father's attachment style? And how do those things play a role in how you show up? Okay? What impact does your present mother, or having a mother who wasn't present, really impact how you go into relationships and marriages? Okay? And Ramses, to me, over and over showed he wasn't ready. Okay, I hate that it came to the 12th hour and suddenly he had a conversation with his friends from back home about his ex-wife and realized, it's just too risky. It's just too risky for me. This is just too risky. But it wasn't risky when you signed up. It wasn't risky during the interview process. It wasn't risky when she was dropping them draws. It wasn't risky when y'all was in the bed having a good old time in Mexico. Okay, but it became risky. It became risky when it was time for you to walk down that aisle and seal the deal. Okay, when things got real. And so look at your self-worth, your self-esteem, your attachment style. How does that play a role in how you choose partners? Are you trying to replace the father wound relationship that you didn't have with your father now in a man? The abandonment issues you have with your mama? Are you trying to replace that in your friendships, your relationships? Is it your partner's job now, responsibility, to be everything your parents were not? Okay? You have to look at how attachment style, trauma, unhealed wounds, the generational trauma of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, pours down into that bloodline. Oh, hello, you. Okay? All those unhealed wounds, all of that now, the epigenetics of it all, boom. Now it's your turn. Okay? And are you in a place where you're ready to start healing and pulling back the layers so that you won't become a Marissa? And you're trying to fulfill some of those needs. And I'm not sure. I'm not saying that Marissa is completely, holding on to the trauma of her mother, but different aspects she is. Okay. And it's great to see that there are still people out here who are happy, bubbly. But I think at times that happiness, that bubbliness is a little bit of a mask for what's behind there. Okay, and you saw her authenticness, you saw the vulnerability, the mask come off when he said, in the beginning, you being happy all the time, bubbly, it was all good. I liked it, but long term, I don't think this is going to be a-okay. I think I might get tired of that. And that's when she falls apart, because to me, she wasted her vulnerability. And oftentimes we work up, we heal, we work through and learn how to be vulnerable. And we use and implement the skills we use in therapy, the vulnerability piece, on the wrong people. And now, do I think that he weaponized her vulnerability? I don't really think so in this particular scene. But I do feel like she wasted her vulnerability on someone who was not able to hold space. I don't even think that Ramses is able to hold space for himself, let alone a partner. Okay, so I want you to think about, what is a relationship that you have had with your parents? Do you have a relationship with your parents? Okay, do you think that someone who comes from a household with two parents, because there's that argument too, does a person who comes from a relationship, a household with two parents, make a better partner than someone who comes from a household with just one parent? That's been like this dialogue that has been going back. So I would love to have a conversation in the comments about that. What do you think? But what is your attachment style? Okay. And are we in a place in society where happy people no longer exist? So when you see somebody being happy and jolly, you're critical of them. Or is that your own projection that you are not able to be happy? Why are you so happy that you project your own stuff onto them to try and silence their happiness because it makes you uncomfortable? We got some self-reflecting to do here now. Okay. Now I want you guys to think about all these things. Come back to me, self-reflect, maybe journal about it. What did you get out of this video? What did you learn? And how can you take that into your own personal relationships? And how do you want to show up as a human being? And what does your healing look like from cycles of that generational trauma that's just lurking in the shadows? Hey girl, hey now, oh, you got a man? He a healthy man? Oh, here comes your generational trauma. We want to be with him too. Yeah, we like him too. And then your trauma is now at the forefront of that relationship. And what do I say? You are now in a polyamorous relationship where your trauma, hey girl, hey, we here too. We like him. We came to get married too. Okay? Now, I need y'all to hit that like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. What came up for you? Because, of course, we can get into it from a therapist perspective. And I will see you next time. Bye.